Hey, welcome to podcast number 2 of Bianca Marie Travel Podcast. Welcome back. I'm excited. This is week number 2, and we are going to talk about how in the world you make money as a Disney travel agent, what a Disney travel agent is, and what do I do, right? Because that's something a lot of people ask me all the time. They're excited and then a little bit confused when they hear what I do. They're like, wait a minute, yay about Disney, but what in the world does a travel agent even do anymore, right? Because in the day and the life that we live right now, everything is online. They're like, we could just go to Disney and .com, and schedule it ourselves, right? So what do we need you for? Which I get because I used to think the same thing. Ironically, I used to think the exact same thing until I became a Disney travel agent and then realized, oh, okay, that's what we do. So I thought as our second episode, I would go on here and just quickly touch base with you guys about what in the world I do, what is a Disney travel agent, and how do we get paid, right? Because that's the question everybody's always asking. So, to begin, what in the world is a Disney travel agent? We are various kinds. So there are the ones that are directly employed by Disney. There aren't as many of those, but they do exist. And then there are the next tier, which is I think it's the vast majority of travel agents that work with Disney, are Disney travel agents that work with Disney, not through Disney. So, for example, I am hired by a super amazing company. I say hired, but I work with, and I'm an affiliate. I'm an independent contractor, so I have my own business, but I work through them, right, for all of my travel bookings. So I work for Academy Travel, or work with Academy Travel. And Academy Travel is one of the very few elite travel agencies in the business. And I'm so excited to be able to be a part of their whole team. We are diamond earmarked by Disney. What that means, because I didn't know what that meant either till I asked them, it means that there are, a whole fleet of Disney travel agents, right? They specialize in Disney, but they just kind of created their own business and they just exist. Earmarked diamond by Disney means that Disney has designated us as the elite travel agency in the business. So they've essentially tapped us on the shoulder and said, we recognize you. You are the top of the class when it comes to travel agents that specialize in Disney. There are only 3 diamond earmarked travel agencies in the whole world that are designated by Disney. We even have our own phone lines directly to Disney. Everybody else has to call the 1-800 whatever Disney line, all the other travel agencies, just like any other person would, right? You don't have to be a travel agent to call Disney. So the same number that they would use to call Disney is the same number that you would use to call Disney. So they're just like any other person, right? There's nothing special about how they contact Disney. Well, when you're earmarked by Disney Diamond level, you have your own specialized phone line. We have our own designated phone line directly to Disney. We don't have to wait. We don't have, all these different menus we have to go through. We make the phone call, they pick up. It's fantastic, let me tell you. And we have all these special things that not everyone gets access to. For example, we were the only, excuse me, we were the only agency thus far in the pandemic that has been able to come on site for a FAM, which is what we call them. They're familiarization trips where we get to go and have training. We're the only ones that have gotten to do that because we're diamond earmarked. So hooray! We're the only ones that have been able to get on Disney property with Disney's consent and have a meeting. It was amazing, because it's hard with all the, masks and social distancing and things. We were able to have full trainings with Disney executives. It was amazing. Let me tell you, it was amazing. Got a lot of inside looks at stuff and a lot of helpful information that will help me with your trip. So we got to speak with the head of Disney marketing. We got to speak with, it was awesome. All the executives that were there from Disney, it was pretty awe-inspiring. I was like, what? I was so excited. So, we get perks like that because we're diamond earmarked. But it also means that they don't just hire anybody, right? They don't just hire anybody off the street. You have to know Disney if you want to work for Academy Travel, which is great, right? Yay! It means that if you're going with anyone at Academy Travel, not just me, you know you're going to have a good experience because they don't mess around. They have strict rules, and they have no problem firing you if you're not good. That's just the truth. So hooray, right? I was super excited to be a part of their team. So we had some amazing times. I will put some pictures on the video because if you're listening to the podcast, you won't see them. But I will pop some up on the screen for the video of some of our fan pictures. It was so fun. It was awesome getting to connect with other travel agents in person because that's been long awaited, right? So that was really, really fun. We also got to walk on to the new Pandora ride. Oh, it was so fun. You should have seen us. I have video. I do. I'll put a little video down here in the corner for my podcast video. So those watching the podcast video can see it. You would have thought that we were like at a mass boy band concert with all the full grown women screaming right now. They were leading us through Animal Kingdom and we didn't know where we were going. And then as people started to pick up to where we were going, they just started freaking out because this was after hours. They had closed the park and we were the only ones left in the park. And you just see them walking us towards the Pandora ride, and people just started freaking out. They're like, oh my God, we're riding Flight of Passage. Because, right now there's no fast pass. So good luck, right? You got to wait for like 78 minutes a lot of times, unless you do rope drop and you get back there immediately. Pro tip, by the way. But if you don't, you get to stand in like an hour line to ride that ride. So people were freaking out. They were screaming like it was a boy band concert at the top of their lungs. They were like, ah! Oh, and it was amazing. It was great. It was so cool to just be able to walk right on the ride. It was very special. Thank you, Disney, by the way, for letting us do that. That was amazing. But it was just really funny. I was like, why is everybody screaming? And then the agents next to me started picking up on where we were going because it was a big, long train of people. And then we were all like, ah! It was really, really fun. But anyways, back to what I was saying. We help you by having all the knowledge right here in our noggin already. So while you absolutely could do your own trip, to do it at the level that we will do it for you would require you to spend probably 6 months learning everything. That's, obviously for me, it's way more knowledge than that. But just for you yourself to go through the effort of, learning about ADRs, which are advanced dining reservations, and how long out from your trip you can do that. And, getting all of your fast passes when those are active again. And what rides are, the real popular rides that are going to get filled up, and how to, navigate the park by yourself with kids and a stroller, and, tips on getting around the park with that stroller, and where to park it and when to leave it and when to bring it around with you, and just all those different things. That's the knowledge I have, and you don't have to find out yourself, right? It's just ease of not having to do that, right? You don't have to go and watch 80 YouTube videos about Disney to try to learn all the tips, tricks, advice, methods, strategies, all that kind of stuff, as well as not having to go through and look at every single resort on property, keeping up to date with all the updates and renovations and closures. And, right now the French Quarter is closed. There's just so much that's always changing, right? And that's my job, is to stay on top of that. So you don't have to. I can take all that knowledge that I keep in my head and tailor it specifically to you. So in our previous podcast, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but on this one, we'll talk a little bit more in depth. So for example, if I have two families, right, and one is a mom and dad and two teenagers versus a mom and dad that are coming without children, those recommendations are going to look completely different, right? They're not going to be the same because they're going to need different things. And so for that, I would have completely different recommendations. But let's say, for a little bit better clarification of what exactly it is that I do, if I had two identical families, let's say I had two families, both with two teenagers, or let's say an 8 and 10-year-old, right? And one family wants to have a go, go, go kind of trip, right? They want to do all the rides. They want to do as many as they can, anyways. They want to do, they want to have water slides at their pool. They want to have the pool parties at their pool. They want to have things to do at their resort. But I have another family that has the same setup, right? Mom, dad, 8 and 10-year-old. But they want to have a relaxing vacation. They don't want to have this go, go, go mentality. They don't want to have to travel, 30 minutes from park to hotel because they want to have a break in the middle of the day, right? They want to be able to hop on a monorail or something and go straight to their hotel and have a relaxing nap or go relax by the pool in the midday heat and then be able to easily get back to whatever their particular park they want to go to. So those are all things that I would then take in my mind and I would give them the best recommendation I have, right? If there's a family that doesn't mind taking a 30-minute bus ride, then they might be better suited for a further out but more full of things to do kind of resort, right? They may be better off for Art of Animation, which has a splash pad and all these things for them to do. They have big parties at the big pool during the day, but they don't mind having that big ride, right? Because you're not getting there quickly. It's going to be an hour at best of travel time back and forth from walking from the interior of the park to the buses, then waiting for your next bus because you're not guaranteed a bus when you walk up to the bus platform, and then getting on the bus, getting to the resort, walking from the front of the resort to wherever your room is. That alone could be 40 minutes, right? Or more. So that is something to keep in mind when you're thinking about what the family wants, right? So that's what I do. I do all of that because I know a lot of my clients are first time clients that haven't ever been there. So they don't understand how big Disney can be, right? They're not aware of how much it's like a mini city. It has its own highways. It has its own streets. It's enormous. There's no walking to your hotel. That ain't happening unless you're at the Contemporary and you're walking from Magic Kingdom. But even that's easily a 10-minute walk. It's not fast. And you'd probably be better off taking a monorail. But anyways, that's besides the point. That's my job, right? My job is to help you navigate as quickly as possible. And I have the knowledge because I've been there over and over and over. And right now I'm in Kansas, but I'm excited. We're moving, in a couple months back home to where my family is in Florida. Well, most of my family. And so I'm excited. My dad's down there right now. He moved a little bit ahead of us and we're going and I'm so excited. We will be spending every weekend in Disney. I cannot wait. So, I will have even more up to date, right? Better knowledge being there every weekend. But even right now, I was just there a couple weeks ago and I did things that, you wouldn't typically do on someone else's vacation. I went to the different resorts. I took all the different, transportation options. I took some Lyfts. I took some Ubers. I took a minivan. I took the monorail. I took the Skyliner. I took the buses. I took the ferries. I did all these different things to go to all these different parts and parks and days and nights and all that so that I can help you, right? I can give you the best tips I have because I've gone and experienced all of it. I've experienced the turnaround on how long it takes for a ferry to get back or how long it takes to walk from the buses at Animal Kingdom. It's forever, by the way. Or from Epcot to the buses, also forever. It's a very, very long walk, especially if it's raining, which I have also gotten to experience. So there's a lot of different things that I have to offer that you wouldn't have if you haven't been to Disney before. And even if you have been to Disney before, honestly, it's very tricky. And you'll hear a lot of people say this all the time, especially the YouTubers. You cannot do everything Disney in one trip. It's just not possible. You cannot. There's too much and they change it too much. You just can't. You could stay for 2 whole weeks. You could stay for a month. You still won't get it all done. There's just too much. So, I will have my different worksheets that I will email my clients that I've created that will help them prioritize what exactly it is they want to do. Because it's easy to tell them to prioritize, but if they don't know what they're prioritizing, good luck with that, right? So I have all kinds of things. Let me grab it real quick. So for example, Because I'm a Disney travel agent and not just a regular old person off the street, I have things like this, and I can mail people this. But since pandemic and all that, I actually will send my clients e-brochures, which is basically just a electronic version. So if you're watching the podcast video, which I suggest, you can find it at Bianca Marie Travel Podcast on YouTube, you will be able to see what I'm showing. So for those just listening, I'm just showing a book I have. I'm trying to get it in the screen, but it's not doing the best it can, which is a Disney Travel Agent book that you can only get if you're a Disney Travel Agent through DTA.com, which is DisneyTravelAgents.com, which you can also only access if you are actually a Disney Travel Agent and have a CLIA number, which is a number you can only get when I think you have to make $35,000 in sales each year to get your own CLIA number. So you can only get in if you have one of those. So, but yes, so once you're in there though, you can ask for these lovely little bits. So as you can see, I have all the different maps. It's not very good. There we go. I'm showing the folks on the video all the different maps I have, as well as, resort lists and area lists. I mean, it's things that I already know because I've been there, but it is nice to have, and I will create customized e-brochures and send them to my clients so that they don't have to go to Disney.com and search through all the stuff that's on there, because there's a lot. You could spend months and months and not find all of it. So I will customize it to exactly what you're looking for and what you're interested in, and I will send it to you. As well as this beautiful deck plans that I have for my Disney cruise line. So it's nice to have all that extra stuff when you're trying to help someone with their Disney adventure. So like this one's Adventures by Disney, all the beautiful places you can visit. You can go to Italy and Rome and, beautiful. All kinds of stuff. Central, South America, North America, Europe. I can help you with all that kind of stuff as well. And then, of course, Disney Cruise Line. So, I have a lot of knowledge right here in the noggin. And that's what I'm essentially sharing, That's what I do. I help you tailor your visit exactly to what you need, whether it's because you have babies or you have older kids and a younger kid, and you don't know, right, which rides are going to scare the younger kid, or which rides will be too boring for the older kid, or all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm here for. That way you don't spend 45 minutes in line for Peter Pan's flight only to find out it scares the crap out of your 3-year-old and they don't want to ride any more rides at the whole park. That's the kind of stuff I'm here for, right? Because yes, you could watch a YouTube video about Peter Pan's flight, but if you haven't ridden it, you don't know, right? Or probably a more pertinent example would be the Haunted Mansion, which my 8-year-old was scared crapless. Yes, she was. And it's not that I hadn't ridden it before, but you just don't know, Your kid may be the bravest kid on the planet, but for some reason, dancing ghosts are scary. I don't know. But this is what I'm here for, right? I'm here to give you guys that knowledge, that firsthand knowledge of having ridden all these rides. So not only do you not have to go watch these YouTube videos and see the rides, which you still can, by the way. I would almost suggest it just so you kind of have an idea of what to expect. But I'm there because I've also ridden the ride, so I can tell you what it feels like in person, because not only videos don't always do it justice. Actually, I will have some videos coming up of the rides myself on my channel, so I will make sure to tell you guys when those are up. I have videotaped the new amazing Elsa ride, so you guys can see what it is, what to expect, if it's worth waiting in an hour and a half line. In our opinion, yes, it was so much fun. But it's good to know, because you can also prioritize. Like I was saying, you can use the stuff that I send out to my clients for them to prioritize. Say, well, we definitely want to do Frozen, so when we get into Epcot, we are going straight there, right? The moment Epcot opens, we're going straight there because that's the ride we want to ride the most, right? Then perhaps we'll go to Nemo and Friends, and then we'll walk around the World Showcase and eat treats and things. So that's the kind of stuff I'm here for, is to help you plan your day so that it is exactly the way you would like it to be, and it ticks off all of the things on your checklist that you want, right? If you want to relax instead of having a go vacation, I'm here for that, right? I can give you all of the suggestions that I think would would suffice for what you're looking for. So that's essentially what I do. I'm kind of like the filter on YouTube or Google, right? I just filter out the things that you won't want without you having to know what those things are or research them, or you know, you don't want to go on a Disney vacation that costs you $4,000 and spend your whole time doing trial and error. That's what I'm here for, is for you to not have to do that, right? You do not want to spend 3 different days where you're sitting in lines that you realize, why was I even in this line? I didn't like that ride. Why am I here, right? I didn't like having to go and be whipped around because I don't like, high volume, fast moving kind of rides. Well, don't stand in line for Test Track, right? But what if you don't know what Test Track is, right? A lot of people don't. There's so many different rides. There are hundreds of rides at these parks. So it makes more sense to hire a free travel agent. And that is our job, is to know all the different rides and to say, okay, you don't like quick moving stuff, or you have a neck problem. Perhaps you don't want to be whipped around on Test Track. Well, let me tell you, don't stand in line for Test Track because you won't like it. Those are all things that I am here for. So you don't have to, right? Just takes the stress out of the vacation because you know that I've experienced all of it and I am telling you from my experience, not just because I've watched a couple YouTube videos, because I've been there, I've tried it by myself, with my kids, with other people. And that's kind of what I offer, is my experience and my expertise in the subject. Now, on to the big question everybody wants to know. How in the world do I get paid, right? Because that's something that everybody's interested in. Nobody knows how in the world we get paid. They often are skeptical, as I was before becoming a travel agent. I used to be like, why am I going to get a travel agent? They're free. What could they possibly offer? So let me tell you, as a DTA, which is Disney Travel Agent, I'm an authorized vacation planner by Disney, authorized vacation, person. That's what I do. I am essentially a trained and certified Disney travel agent. What I do is what I just said, right? I help you out. How do I get paid though? Because I'm free to you. So how do I get paid, right? That's where the skeptics come in, like I used to feel. How I get paid is when you book with me, because this is key. And I really want to make sure everybody knows this, because this is what I didn't know. And I felt bad because years ago, before I was a travel agent, I had no idea how they got paid. And I was one of these people that did what I'm about to say. Please don't do this. I felt so guilty. I actually called this lady back later and was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to book through you next time just to make it up. I wasn't aware of how they got paid. And I assumed because they're free that, I don't know, that there was no commitment essentially. And while there's not, it's more about, if you understand how it works, it's easier for you to understand why you need to book through us, not just use us for our information. So let me explain. Years ago, I kind of feel a little embarrassed about it because I feel bad because I didn't know any better. But I have made it right with her since, but I felt so bad. I found a Disney travel agent. Ironically, this was for one of my very first cruises. I had no idea how agents got paid. I didn't know, right? So I called her, I asked her for help, and she spoke with me for probably an hour, which is a long time, by the way. And helped me with so much, so many different aspects of it. And talked me through the whole process and kind of all that stuff. And then she gave me a quote, and the quote was higher than I liked, right? And that's going to happen, guys. Disney is expensive. It's not cheap. But what I ended up doing was I just went to the website myself. Don't do that, by the way. Well, you can do that, but let me further explain. So I went to the website myself and I found a cheaper option, right? So I just booked it myself. I didn't book it through her. And I explained it to myself and validated it to myself as, well, she didn't give me a cheap enough option. I was able to find it myself. So it's fine. Well, then I became a travel agent and I realized that what I should have done, now, of course, she should have given me a cheaper option. That's, obvious. And I will do that, by the way. But if she hadn't, somehow she must have looked past it, or I don't understand why she didn't offer it to me. But what I do know is what I should have done was call her back and just say, hey, I found a cheaper option. Let's book that one. And that's what I should have done. That's not what I did. And the reason I say that's what I should have done is because she already invested an hour plus of her time and giving me all of her tips, tricks, and advice. That was her, her time. And so what I should have done was called her back and just said, hey, I found this cheaper option. Let's book this. And then she would have been like, okay, great. Right? The reason I say that is because we don't get paid unless you book through us. We can spend 3 hours on the phone with you, giving you all of our tips, tricks, advice, all that. But if you don't book through us, we get nothing. Yeah. I didn't know that at the time, so I felt really guilty, like a lot of guilt when I did find out how that's how we get paid. And I did actually end up calling her back and telling her what happened and explaining this is what I'm going to do next time. And when I booked my next one, I went through her because I felt really bad. But yes, so that's important. So this is how it works. You contact me, right? Or whoever. You contact a Disney travel agent. We will speak with you basically on honors. There's no contract. There's no, agreement or anything. It's just on your word, and I suppose on the idea that if you're contacting me, you're wanting to work with me, kind of thing, right? So there's no magical contract that we have that says if you take all of my advice, you have to book with me. That's not at all true. But it would be nice because that's what we get paid for. So the way that it works is someone contacts me or someone contacts a travel agent. We are, speaking with you, finding out your information, how many people are in the, in the party, what kind of vacation are you looking for, what kind of experiences would you like? And then once we gather all that information, we can get a better idea and personalize the trip for you. We can tell you what we think will be best. We can tell you what resort we think will be best. We can tell you, all these different things. But if you then hang up and go book it yourself, we don't get anything out of that, unfortunately. And it happens way more often than you think, for sure. So, and that's why some travel agents aren't free. That's why some travel agents actually require some kind of, initial payment, deposit or something for their time before they even work with you. And it's not that I don't agree with that. I'm just like, well, I get why they do it because there are so many people who will do that. They will call you, they will ring you, drive information, and then they will book on their own. And I think a lot of it isn't that they're mean people or anything. I think they just don't understand how it works, right? They don't understand how we get paid, which is why I thought I'd come on here and tell you. So this is how we get paid. You contact me, I give you a quote, we talk about it, right? We do all that. I give you all this personalized information and I go above and beyond for my clients. So I send you, personalized electronic brochures. I send you all these different little worksheets and cute things for you and stuff for your trip and, freebies and printables and all kinds of cute little fun things that I send my clients. But at that point, I still am not paid. It's just me. I want you to have a great vacation. So I'm going to send you all the stuff to let you have a great vacation and hope that you pay, hope that you work through me, right? Hope that you book with me. But if you don't, at least I know I did my best to help you with having a magical vacation. And I gave you a few fun freebies also, right? So that's essentially what I do. And then the rest is up to you guys, right? The rest is for you guys to agree to book. And basically how it works is you call in, you get your quote, right? I send you all that stuff. Then theoretically, you would call me back once you've decided when you want to go and what you want to book. So you call me back, we do our booking, or we can do it in the first phone call. Really, it's up to you, depending on where you are in your decision-making process, right? You need to talk with your spouse or whoever you're going with and kind of agree on it beforehand. That's fine. Then you call me back, or we do it on the first phone call, even better, and then we get it booked. But that's the thing. I have to book it. I have to open up the Disney Travel Agent's portal, which, you can only get to if you're a Disney Travel Agent. And then I have to enter in the specifics. I've got to enter in who it's for, where it's at, when it's happening. It's very similar, but a little bit more detailed than what you go through when you book it yourself. The difference is that this reservation will now be tagged with my commission information. So if I do not book it myself through that process, then I don't get paid, right? So that's the only way that I get paid, is that I have to enter it myself into the Disney Travel Agent's site and confirm that reservation. And then I think you have to, if there's a deposit due, you have to give me the credit card information through email or something secure, or through phone. And then I enter that, and then you guys pay the deposit. And then once that deposit is paid, it's considered, a for sure booking. And then I still don't get paid, by the way. I don't get paid until you pay in full and you take that trip. So all of this work on the front end is all just in hopes that you book with me and that you take your vacation, right? That's essentially, we're all working on faith. Faith and trust and pixie dust, right? That should be my catchline. I like that. Yes, we're working on faith, trust, and pixie dust, because we still don't get paid. You can, for example, if you called me today, it's May 16th, I think. You call me right now, it's May 16th. We make your booking, right? You do your deposit, we get it all set up, and you're excited. Your vacation's on the books. Whoa! There's nothing better than having a vacation on the books, by the way. It's so fun. You have something to look forward to. It's fantastic. But anyways, what I was saying was that you have it on the books, right? And it's May 16th. I don't get a paycheck yet. Let's say that you book it for next July, right? So we're speaking now in May. You get your booking in, you've paid your deposit. Between now and July 2022, when your trip is, I will help you with all of the extra stuff. So like, I will make sure that I get the information of what ADRs you want, what advanced dining reservations you want to have. And I will get that list ahead of time so that when the 180 days roll around, you don't have to do anything. I will be up at midnight of the 180 days, and I will be up at midnight, and I will be getting those reservations for you. I will also do that for fast passes, 30, 60, 90 days, depending on where you're staying, how you've booked, all of that. I will be also keeping track of those due dates and making sure that I have a list of what fast passes you want, and I will make sure that to get those fast passes for you. That's all stuff that you don't have to worry about. That's what I do. I handle all of that whole time. I will send you email updates when the deadlines are coming up for final payment and things like that, so that hey, this card's going to get run, or if you want to change the card, you can do that through the email or whatever. And we can get that changed. If you change your mind, you want a different card to go have the rest of the total on, that's fine. We can do that too. That's the kind of stuff that you'll have happening up through the time frame leading up to your vacation. But again, I still haven't gotten paid, so I'm doing all this. And I still don't get paid through this whole time. I don't get paid until you complete your trip. So I may have done all the work in May, but I don't get paid until probably August of 22. So it's a whole year in advance that I'm waiting for that payment, and that's fine. But that's why it's important for everyone to understand how it works. Because Disney what'll happen is when you check out of your hotel, Disney will then consider that booking completed. Then they will send payment of whatever the percentage is to Academy Travel, which is my travel host agent company. And then they will send me whatever my percentage is for my commission. But they only do it once a month, and they do it for the month, every month. Let's say that, for July 22, I had 3 people that completed travel that month. Okay, so I get that payment August of 22. So if you guys are doing the math, that's a long time. That's May, June, July. That's about 15 months from my initial work, then my continuous work throughout the year, and then that final payment. And it's, probably a couple $100. Not nothing crazy, but still, it's awesome because I'm getting to do what I want to do, right? I want to help you have an amazing vacation. But That's how we're paid. Disney pays us once you are fully checked out of your vacation. So, not during your vacation, not until you're checked out and you've left. Then they send the payment to my agency, who then sends it to me. And so that is how we get paid. That's how we do it for free, because we can charge. There's no rules about us charging an upfront fee or something. But I choose to do it free because I want to help you. I want you to have access to all of this knowledge and all of this personalization, right? Because of course I could charge. I could charge $200 or whatever. I could charge whatever I wanted. But I want you guys to have access to this because I want you to have a great vacation, right? Disney vacations are expensive in themselves. So I would like to not add more cost to you, right? I want you to be able to come to me, and all I ask is that you book through me so I can get paid for all the work I do, right? That's it. That's all I ask. And I have some other surprises that I give my clients too, but you guys will only know if you're my client. I do some other fun things. Like I usually have something waiting for you at your hotel resort when you check in, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's why it's a surprise. But yeah, I do other fun things for my clients too because I want them to have a magical vacation. But anyways, if you guys have any additional questions about what in the world a Disney Travel Agent does, who we are, what we do, how we get paid, if you have any other questions or concerns or whatever, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as well as YouTube, of course. You can leave a comment below in my YouTube video stream, which is Bianca Marie Travel Podcast on YouTube. So feel free to check us out and subscribe. Another free way to provide me with any kind of income. My goal is to get that channel monetized, but YouTube doesn't play. They want you to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So we've got a ways to go, but we can do this, can't we? But yes, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like. Stay tuned for next week's. Ooh, we got some good stuff coming next week. I can't wait. Next week, we'll be talking all about what Disney is like right now. So as you've heard, I have been there a few weeks ago. So I know exactly what it's like right now. And so I would like to tell you guys what it's all about, what they've got going on, the changes they're making, what's open, what's not open. Because by the way, a lot of stuff is closed. It was still an amazing time, let me tell you, but there are things that are not open. There are things that's not happening right now. And honestly, it's probably for the best because there's so much stuff to do at Disney. Half the stuff that's closed, I didn't even notice because you have so many other things to do. But it's important to know what's closed so that you don't make plans or get excited. Like the Lion King, not open right now. That was kind of a bummer for me, but I'll come back. But either way, it's important to know what's going on and what's not going on, and that's what the next podcast will be all about. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I will see you real soon.